Hey guys, it's Pig here with another video helping you learn and improve at versus mode. Today we're going to be looking at a beginner Zerg opening guide. So we're going to run you through the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game as Zerg, and no matter what your plan is and your overall strategy, you can always use this opening as a starting point so you've got a solid foundation of economy, lots of workers pumped out early, and most importantly, staying safe against those rushes and those cheeses which can knock you out of the game otherwise. So we're going to walk through, cover the key points. Let's see how it plays out. Let's go into game. Alright, so we're going to be going through this beginner Zerg build order, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing while I play. You can see I'm playing against a very hard AI here.
Good luck, have fun.
We're going to start off, and first thing we're going to do is start building a drone and send our first overlord across the map to sit just outside their expansion. Next up, we are going to build an overlord here on 13 supply, and we're going to immediately click on that egg, and we're going to actually tell it to also move across the map, because these are going to provide some scouting. Now, always just constantly building drones otherwise, and just following the normal rules. Non-stop drones, never let yourself get supply blocked. Next up, it's going to be a 17 spawning pool. If you want, you can try to spread these drones around the patches a little bit like you see me doing. Try and make sure they're mining nice and efficiently. And there we go, 17 supply. Put down a spawning pool. So supply is a great way to kind of measure when you're meant to do things here in these early stages of the game. And always keeping an eye on your supply count up in that top right. Really nice indicator. So we're going to send a drone down to our natural expansion. And we're going to build that hatchery. So 17 spawning pool into 17 hatchery. And we're going to build one more drone, bring us back up to 17 supply, and build a 17 gas. Now behind that, you want to build 2 more drones up to 18 supply, and then we're going to wait. So even if another lava pops out, we're not going to spend it straight away. We want to save our money so that we can immediately build a queen and a couple of zerglings. So there we go, spawning pool's finished. Immediately build a queen, a pair of zerglings, and then an overlord. So 3 guys onto gas, that lava pops out, immediately build an overlord. And you're going to notice how my first 2 overlords, first one's already going to this bit of high ground next to the natural expansion where my opponent can't kill it because they can't spot it. The other one's next to their main base, so I can send it into scout later. Now these 2 zerglings I can also send out onto the map to scout. Not too important just yet. Back at home, let's keep on droning. And we're going to build a second queen immediately. Queue it up even before the first one finishes. Very important.
A new queen
and your first queen is going to inject lava and immediately walk to your natural expansion. Now, you're going to notice that I am getting saturated here. I've gone into red on the workers, which means there's more than enough. So we're going to change the rally point here to my natural expansion. So notice I've selected my hatcheries, clicked them on the mineral patch here.
Your forces are taking damage.
So my zerglings have encountered the enemy. I said, okay, let's back those away. We're going to pull them back and we're going to leave them outside his base just to see if he comes out with an attack. Now, once you have 100 gas, you want to start up zergling speed.
A new queen
you want to just keep on building drones, and you notice I'm getting close to my supply cap. So let's build a few overlords, and remember, build overlord, and you just kind of, whenever you build an overlord, you just click it near your base so that you have a nice little spread of overlords giving you vision in case your opponent comes to fight you. Next up is 36 supply. We want to go for a roach warren. So you see we're about to hit 36 supply. Remember, that is just a guideline. So if you do it slightly early or slightly late, it's not really a big issue, but you do want to try and stick as close to those supply counts as possible. And at this point, you'll notice your queens are synced up. So whenever they inject, you just build heaps more units. You're still building pretty much non-stop drones. But if he were to come out with an army right now, I would immediately swap into building lots of fighting units. Okay, so actually we should hold on for a second because this is a great point to come out of game and touch on a very important topic. I mentioned there the fact that there is a decision-making process, and that is between what do you spend your lava on as a Zerg player. Your lava is what builds workers, but it's also what builds fighting units. You can't really be building a lot of both at the same time, or you'll end up with kind of average army, average economy. You always want to be adaptive to what your opponent's doing. So those scouts outside our opponent's base, very important. If we see them pushing out, we want to swap our production into fighting units to shut down their push. But if they're not coming out with any sort of pressure or push, we want to stay on full workers and push that economy as far as possible. Your ability to be flexible and adjust based on what your opponent's doing is the key to Zerg play. And once you get this down, you'll really feel the flow of Zerg and you'll feel like you're just overwhelming your opponents in a lot of situations. Next up is 44 supply. We want to drop a third hatchery. So let's keep building some overlords. We've got a drone going to the third base. And there we go. Okay, very nice. You'll notice how whenever I build a new hatchery, I add it to my hotkey and set the rally point. So inject, inject, and we'll see now we're hitting 50 supply. So at 50 supply, we start a lair, an evolution chamber, and we also want to take all of our gas geysers here on 2 bases. Now, you'll notice because I need more drones for that gas, I'm going to change the rally point from my main base here. I'm going to grab those drones and just tell them to get on gas straight away. And just continuing to drone for a moment. We can start a third queen. You can get that a little bit earlier if you prefer, but it's not too important when you're first starting. I'm going to build some more drones, and we're going to make sure all our drones are going to mine here. And at this point, you'll notice I'll build one more drone here to top off the main. The natural's already got too many workers at it. That's awesome. Better to have a few extra than a few too few. So at this point, you swap into unit production. So we've built enough economy, 2 bases saturated. Let's build lots of roaches. Now, if you prefer to build banelings, you can build a baneling nest at the same time I built this roach warren. And you can go for a zergling baneling composition. For me, I'm going roaches. So I'm gonna get the roach speed upgrade on that roach warren now that my lair's done. Spread a little bit of creep. And we're just gonna keep on pumping out roaches here. And you notice I'm going the ranged upgrade. If I was going zergling baneling, I would be building the carapace or the melee upgrade, one of those two. And this is about as far as the build takes you guys. You can just go for a big massive roaches from here and go attack. Notice you've got the third hatchery, but you're not really building drones for it. I will set the rally points there though, so that any new drones coming out will automatically go to that new base. And it should be pretty cool. So I think the easiest way to play from here is always to just hit a big roach attack. Notice I'm just massing roaches. If you prefer, you can always instead start droning up your third base. You can go up to Hydralisks. You can go for Spire, get Mutalisks. It's all up to you. This is just a great opening. You're going to get to a point where you have a bunch of roaches or zerglings and banelings. You've got 2 bases filled with workers very quickly. And so you've got a nice economy which allows you to branch out into all sorts of tech, whatever floats your boat. Okay guys, so that about wraps us up for today. I do want to say, you might have watched the video once, but this is a great resource you can throw maybe on a second monitor or up on your phone while you're actually playing through the build order to get the hang of it. So definitely rewatch it, run through it a few times, and hopefully it helps you out a lot. Of course, if you guys are looking for more guides and tutorials, there are already a few up and a lot more to come. So check out the Welcome to Starcraft playlist on YouTube. And thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Goodbye and good night.